Welcome in, welcome in. What's going on, Levy? What a wild Friday. Amazing Friday. What's going on? What's going on, everyone? What's going on in premium chat? Oh, nice metrics right there on the checks. Huh. Interesting. What's going on, everyone? What's going on? The Oracle came through. Gotta say. I wonder how many people are actually really holding a heavy position in that Oracle put. Is this the end? No, Tom. I just started. Tom, don't tell me you hear an echo again, are you? What is my dog doing? Okay. All right. I guess we'll get started. Um, the end of the stock market. What's going on, Thomas? So pretty much, what a beautiful day. I think it wasn't a beautiful ending to the week. Short week. I know Tamakazi. We were mentioning it last week, and we didn't really expect this week to be all interesting. We didn't expect much in the move to be. I think it was like a 0.5% move that we were really expecting in the market. But it was a better move overall than we expected, and a perfect Oracle alert to end the week. I mean, I kept mentioning it the past what 3, 4 days, on my daily recaps that we're gonna see pretty much lower highs, lower lows. That's basically what we saw, and then the market pretty much just decided to give us a gift right around that 10 o'clock more in the morning here, and that was just beautiful to just end the week. To cap it off, it actually helped my small account, so I'll go there. The small account was kind of a little bit on life support. I know Tamakazi got me about that as well. So it was a nice bounce back. It was good to see Avery also in the account challenge. His just took off right away. I think it's day 3 for him. Beautiful. I think he actually, he's up like 60 something percent, if I'm not mistaken. So that was beautiful. If you followed along with Thomas also, his account actually grew amazingly with the short squeeze plays. That was just phenomenal on his part. It actually came out of nowhere. But congrats to him also. So if you're actually in the server, I think that if you're following each trader, each small account, it's a different view from everyone. You get a different perspective, different style of plays from everyone. So that's really the benefit of the small account challenges. And then also Yopan doing it as well. So that's a beautiful sight to see also. Uh, but again, highlight of the day, the Oracle alert. We'll see next week if the selling pressure continues. That's what you actually see my SPY chart up on the screen right now. I do have, there's a gap right now. We'll see if we end up filling that going into next week. We'll see how that gap actually continues. I do think we're going to continue to see lower lows, and we'll end up seeing, exactly how low we end up getting. I think we're gonna end up seeing that low 442 will be the next trigger for me, the next important key level, and we'll see if we get there on Monday. Hopefully that ends up, giving us a nice push, extending our gains on that Oracle alert. Other than that, I know that we ended up having. It was just a coincidence that we had early in the morning. We had the Apple Rapid Flow that came through that hit like 3 times. You had an opportunity to get a nice quick 10-15% out of that rapid flow. But then, of course, the antitrust issues came through with Apple. that actually helped accelerate that Oracle alert, and that was just downhill from there. Apple was definitely not necessarily a dip buy. Uh, I hope no one actually took a dip buy just yet. If you're actually scaling in, I can understand that, but not exactly at this timing. I think the timing is just bad right now. I think we do have a gap to fill down here. We'll see that eventually. I think that's going to fill that gap right down to that 137, 136 level. We'll see if that eventually fills. It's just too high up thinking that this is a dip buy opportunity right there. Maybe at this trend line support when you get down to 146, it may be a quick scalp type play where you get maybe a nice swing if you take the actual buy, if you get some calls there. But I don't, that's not a buying opportunity that I see present right there at that point in time if you ended up trying to catch that knife for that matter. So that was the other issue with Apple. Other than that, I think that pretty much was the highlight of the day. We saw continuation on Zoom. We saw continuation on Peloton. I don't understand why Peloton is still going up. That's just insanely crazy to me. But that was a beautiful continuation it had. It's actually made now, what I think about a $20 move after giving back some gains now. It actually completed the gap. It went right over the gap. And it actually is resting right above where it completed that gap. So we'll see how that continues as well. I would keep an eye on that one. If it re-enters back into that gap zone, if it goes below, well, of course, with the market weakness, we'll see if that ends up filling that gap back again, re-entering it. Of course, Zoom. I know that I believe Straight was all over Zoom. He was actually calling that one out as well. He actually made some nice money off of that. I don't know if he actually swung it or not. If you followed him in the small account, um, nothing that I'm really seeing here that's really entertaining me as far as Zoom. We could end up seeing it fill this gap right here, complete it again, re-entering it, or rest it as support before the next uptrend. We'll see what Zoom does. Of course, it is positive with Peloton as well and COVID and all the fairs. So we'll see how Zoom does. Other than that, I know that Moderna was also one to watch. That's one we'll evaluate that one come early next week. We got a rounding top right here, and then we also have a nice gap fill down at around 427, right into the range of 424. So we'll see if that gap is actually in play or not, or if we end up finding support right around this level, which I would expect to. I think we're gonna find support somewhere right around here. If that be the case, otherwise, that rounding top is going to continue to form down, and then we'll see it fill this gap, and we'll see what the directional move is from that standpoint. I know that another one that we were watching was UPST. That one actually got crushed quite a bit today. It ended up breaking the trend line that it had. If we see it had a nice little trend line support, and then it ended up breaking right down, and it crashed about $19 today. So we'll see about that one. Probably maybe we get a nice little retest. It may retest up to that 282 level, and we'll see what it does from that standpoint. Other than that, I think that was pretty much the highlights of the day, other than the downfall that ended up happening. One quick thing was if you actually saw my count challenge, I actually had Tesla 750 put as a hedge for my AMD calls that I swung. Funny thing is that I ended up selling it. I think it was like a hundred and like $50 when I sold it, and I did not expect that end of day sell off in that manner, and it actually went up to like $1,000. That was really interesting. I actually thought we would continue to chop. We wouldn't see that kind of steep sell-off until next week. I was expecting to hold this level right around that 753. I was expecting to hold that level. And then, of course, that's when Oracle just kind of escalated everything from that standpoint. But that was just an update on that. Other than that, I think that's pretty much most for the Friday afternoon. What we saw, Oracle highlight of the day, all the account challenges, all the P&Ls that we saw. If you saw, I think everyone did a phenomenal job, kind of closing out the week. I know it was a little stagnant middle of the week. It was a little really choppy. Because what's really happening is that we ended up seeing all those downtrends, and then the next morning you would see a nice little gap up, and it was kind of a fake out. So that trend just followed all through the week. You had that downtrend, morning little gap up, and then another downtrend. So we basically saw, like I preached pretty much, lower highs and lower lows, and we'll probably continue to see this correction going into next week. So I will buckle up. Definitely, if you're trying to scale into any positions long, definitely be careful with that. This is not the spot to do that. So I'll give you the heads up going into next week. Definitely look to take profits as well on those oracles going into next week. So don't try to hold positions too long, especially in this kind of environment. Other than that, I think that pretty much covers today. We'll be working on some newsletter plays this weekend, and hopefully you guys stay tuned for Tamakazi on his Sunday night class. Other than that, you guys have a good weekend then. Enjoy, have a good night, and we'll be in touch. All right.